Alf, my favorite sitcom of all time. I finally got my hands on the Shout Studios box set, and today, along with Yoshi, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to compare it to the original Lionsgate box sets. We're going to talk about the special features, the pros and the cons of each version, as well as Shout's version of Project Alf and VSC's version of Project Alf. We're going to talk about the uncut version episodes, and we're going to do side-by-sides and talk about which versions look better and sound better. Welcome back to the Ectoviolence channel. My name is Alec, and today we're talking about Alf, the complete series deluxe edition from Shout Studios. Now, this has been out for like 10 or 11 months now, but it took me a while to pick it up. Let's just take a look at everything inside real quick. So seasons 1 and 2, I actually think it's very beautiful. I like that. I like that the backdrop has the episode names on it for you. The discs are, the design's okay. Little footprints that are colored with each set and season. So then seasons 3 and 4 are in yellow and black. The animated series and bonus features discs. Again, that stuff just, it's beautiful. I like it. And there's a whole booklet that details the episodes, and it has pictures of the cast and crew, some drawings from behind the scenes for the show, and it's got a whole little page of some Alf merch. It's not like everything that's out there, it's just kind of a page of, some merch. Got the skateboard, the mugs, some fun stuff there. I have some of the Alf Tales figurines from Wendy's. Don't have anything else, but I would like that Alf toothbrush and that phone and that skateboard. Yes, please. So let's start with the basics, right? The special features on this. Let's talk about the Shout special features first. So it includes every hilarious episode, including restored footage not seen since their original broadcast. This is true. We'll go over that later, and I'll show you some of those scenes that are cut out. Alf, the animated series, and Alf Tales in their entirety. Now, I don't even think those have been released before previously in their entirety. I think they did some of those special DVDs where they put a couple episodes of each on, Project Alf, Alf's 1996 TV movie finale, which, again, I do have another copy of. We'll get into that. New, a look back at Alf with creators Paul Fusco and Tom Patchett. New, Alf on Alf, audio commentaries with Alf and Tom Patchett for select episodes. I think there's 4 of those. What it doesn't have is a commentary for Project Alf, which I gotta say the VSC DVD does have. And that's the thing. There are things that the old sets have that the new set doesn't. And there's a lot of things that I really, really, really like about the new set from Shout. So there's a lot to talk about here. So there's 4 of these for the original Lionsgate box set. And only the first 2 seasons have special features. The first season having the original unaired pilot episode, which is interesting. That is something that is not on the new Shout set. It also has the gag outtakes reel, which is, again, not on the new box set, which is at least a reason to get this specific Alf Season 1 set. Is it ironic that there's a bunch of cats in this video? I don't know, but they're in every video, so. This is Darwin. If you didn't know, the black one is Yoshi. We don't eat family members. What's cool about this is it does have 2 bonus Alf cartoons. It has from Alf's Animated Adventures, Phantom Pilot, and from Alf Tales, Robin Hood. So seasons 3 and 4 didn't have any extra special features besides just the regular episodes and whatnot. However, here's something I do want to talk about the Lionsgate specifically. So these DVD menus are actually hosted by Alf. Yet again, another reason to hold on to these. And they're all a little bit different each season. So in season 1, it's Alf calling his manager on the first disc and realizing that he's on his DVD menu. And each disc is actually different too.
Hello, Suzanne. I need to speak to somebody about my show not being on DVD.
Your show?
Yeah, my show. This is Alf. The name of the show was Alf. It was a sitcom.
Each disc is a continuation of the same season's theme, though. So in season 1, like he's sitting at a desk kind of in the dark. Season 2 has my favorite.
The Alf Shopping Network.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Alf Shopping Network. That's right, my Season 1 DVD sold so well, I've gone live.
Yes, by the way, I very much am a subscriber to the Alf Shopping Network, as you can see.
Now later in the show, I'll present an astonishing assortment of items to add some Alf bling-bling to your lifestyle. But first, let's move some more of these DVDs.
I think that one's, again, my favorite of the DVD menus. Season 3, Alf is hosting his own satellite radio show for the box sets here.
Hey there. Yes, my empire continues to grow. Along with Earth's creepy crawly technology, You Earthlings finally have satellite radio. And I'm there, bro.
Notice on the cover of Season 3, Alf having a cat sundae. There's no way a cat fits into a milkshake, right? I guess it could be a kitten. But otherwise, that's just a severed cat head on a milkshake. In Season 4, he's just kind of hosting at a desk with like a green screen background with...
I want to thank you for being a fan of my TV series and for buying it here on DVD. This, as you know, is DVD 4. Presumably you've purchased it, and the money is now in my account.
Definitely a downgrade from the previous two. I think Seasons 2 and 3 were the highlights for the hosted box sets. So these were the original ones released by Lionsgate. They started coming out in 2004. In 2018, they re-released it as the complete collection, Alf, and this was at Walmart for like $20. I bought it just to have the different packaging. And because the other discs had taken so much abuse, I just needed a new set. So these are what these look like, essentially, and they are just the same discs, and apparently this is damaged. I didn't even realize that. So really, I own the entire Alf series on DVD 3 times over, and Project Alf twice. So if we're going to compare this to the Lionsgate, the Shout to the Lionsgate, right? The episode in the Shout box set is the original broadcast order of the episodes as well. So, for example, in the other box set, they are in the production order. Sometimes the episodes get produced in a slightly different order. What I'm really stoked about is all the stuff is intact for these Alf episodes on the animated series. So there's Alf bumpers, where the series is kind of bookended by Alf as a puppet in a cartoony version of the Tanner's Garage, basically framing the episode. In Alf Tales, it's a version of an animated Alf that does that and frames it as, a fairy tale story. So let's talk about a little bit of the stuff that's added into this. At the beginning of the very first episode, there's about 2 minutes of extra stuff.
This is the way it began, that extraordinary night. The night he came. This is the way it began, that extraordinary night. The night he came. Let me just shut this thing off.
In fact, it actually makes a lot of sense when you watch the Lionsgate ones, because some of the cuts and edits were so weird and abrupt and strange that I always wondered, what the hell were they thinking when they edited these? Now it makes sense. The biggest example I can think of is when it returns from commercial break and Alpha is listening to music in the uncut episode, but in the syndicated version, it's cut down a lot more. It just starts with like a weird scream and like Alf and Willie at each other. It's very weird, you know what I mean? And then there's extra stuff with Lynn in the garage, like...
What are we gonna do with you?
I guess you'll just have to love me for as long as it lasts.
We will.
I think most of the stuff was removed is seasons 1 and 2, and that's just what I can tell, because I watched a couple from each season to try to see, And season 4 definitely had the least damage done. And I think that's because they had already started syndicating it by then, so they were just making it that length. They didn't want to cut stuff out. But I haven't watched every single episode yet, but I've watched the Lionsgate versions enough that I can tell what's different just by watching it. I don't have to do the side-by-side, which we will get to soon. Some more stuff that's cut out. Another example from one of my favorite episodes, Strangers in the Night. There's an extra monologue at the beginning.
I was being my usual charming self, spending some quality time with the Tanner lad.
A whole scene with him and Brian playing with a toy, and he just breaks it.
When you bend Missile Man's head this way, he becomes a communication satellite.
Whoa, I'm impressed.
See?
Yeah. What does Missile Man become when you bend him like this?
He becomes broken.
I was surprised. There's more liquor cabinet jokes.
When you ask for the keys to the liquor cabinet...
Hey, William, I was kidding. Ha ha! I mean, don't you get it? Do you think I'd actually go near the liquor cabinet or even take my eyes off the kid for a second? Come on, get with it. These are the jokes, man.
The jokes.
At the end of the episode, there was a conviction epilogue about the criminal.
On May 18th, Andrew Semenick was convicted in municipal court of breaking and entering with intent to commit burglary. He waived his rights to a jury trial in lieu of psychiatric help. Mrs. Raquel Achmanik wasn't as fortunate.
I knew it!
She was sentenced to life with Trevor.
He swung at a bitch! I know it!
Lots of crazy stuff to consider. Overall, if you're an Alf fan, you'd probably be fine just going with the Shout box set if you just want to get a hold of everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side-by-sides of Episode 1 and then we're going to take a look at the side-by-sides of Project Alf. Alright, so I've switched screens, and we are going to compare the Lionsgate over here in the Shout Studios. Okay, so if we're looking here, you can see the Lionsgate is significantly more yellow. I think Shout definitely has color corrected it, and if not, I don't know, maybe their scans were better. It's very interesting to note the Shout Studios version. Look at this little loss of information here. You know, some of the texture does look a little bit better in the Lionsgate version. It could just be the scan I did, I don't know, but overall the coloring and image is definitely better on the right side with Shout Studios, so let's skim through this a little more. Again, even here, there's skin tones and everything. It looks significantly better. So again, it's not like the Lionsgate looks really terrible or anything. It's only when you compare it to the other one that your eye is like, oh wait, the Lionsgate looks like shit. And here again, it looks like the Lionsgate is actually sharper on this image of the family's faces here. It looks like a sharper image, you know what I mean? This looks a little blurry. And I don't know what to make of that. Again, Alf just looks yellow. He looks like diarrhea colored when you're comparing it to left and right, man. Okay, so here's an interesting shot. The tree is way more in focus on the Shout Studios version. And the house, look at this. This is fuzzy as crap. But this is pretty crystal clear over here, as far as it can be. Those are comparable. The coloring's better over on Shout Studios for sure, but okay, yeah. So these are, you know, not too crazy looking. Again, everything on the left just looks a little too yellow. You know, mostly comparable shots here. This shot, it's great though, look at that, it's hilarious. Anyway, and here's where it gets interesting. Now I've matched these up where they eventually sink into place. Okay, so they come back from the commercial break on the Shout Studios, the uncut versions. And where we see the train, Alpha's hanging out, listening to music. But this is where the other one comes back. And then they end up syncing up perfectly here. So you can see how they did their edits. Some stuff is in scenes that they just like cut out small snippets of dialogue or small silences and stuff. Like sometimes you sync up, I was syncing up some of these scenes and they would get slightly out eventually because they would remove just like a couple frames here or there. So now I want to compare the Alf intros. And first, I don't even want to talk about the music, okay? I just want to talk about the visuals, and let's start there, okay? Immediate difference, right? Shout Studios, I mean, they're already off, you know what I mean? Lionsgate is about 9, 10, 11 seconds shorter than the Shout Studios. And as you're watching, yeah, you can still see the set over there. That's funny. I have it cut off a little bit too early on this frame to see it, but... And there you go. This one's wrapping it up right now, about, what, 44, 45 seconds in? Rounds out at, what, 49? There you go. And this one, he's still setting up. So the music has to be different for this too. But the thing is, the music is a different intro music as well. Like there's numerous different recordings of the version of Alf, and I don't mean season 1 and 2 being different than seasons 3 and 4, because that's a big change and it's obvious. There's saxophones and everything. I'm talking about minute changes in the recording is slightly different. So I didn't dig too deep into this. I don't know if all of the DVDs use that intro or if just the first episode does. Obviously seasons 3 and 4 have to use the saxophone intro unless they're doing something wrong. But that intro, I remember being significantly longer than the other one too. Lastly, for these side-by-sides, I want to take a look at Project Alf. So I'm pulling it up, and we're going to take a look at from the very first scene here. Already you can tell a color difference, right? And if we skip around just a little bit, let's see here. You see anything very interesting here? Oh, This is almost like has a 16 by 9 like matting on it. Why is that? Was it originally 16 by 9? I think this movie was shot on film. I'm not 100%. I know they shot the Alf Christmas special and some stuff like that on film, so I assume they shot Alf the TV movie on film as well. I don't know why they wouldn't have. But it still would have aired this way, and I don't know if they would have had access to anything that's 16 by 9. But if you're looking at this, they're actually losing some of the frame here. It's just being cut off. Now it is a little bit smaller. The color, I would say, is actually better. It's a little sharper even. But you are losing a little bit of that frame. He's barely above his head here. He has a whole, little space up there. So again, look at the lights in the background. It's an easy way to tell how far what's cut out of the Shout Studios version of this. And it's not anything that you would necessarily even notice. But it's a thing that makes me glad I have both versions, along with the commentary on the VSC version. They actually had a commentary track with Alf. So again, he's losing some of his hair here. He's losing some of his down here too, you know what I mean? It's just kind of cut. I mean, this even looks like it has a little bit extra on the left here. Overall, I think the picture quality is vastly better though. Like that looks like what he actually looks like. This again looks pretty yellow. I mean, look at that. Look at the color versions of this. That's wild. Ed Begley Jr. So the color isn't super different on Alf, at least not as bad as the Lionsgate versus Shout on season 1. I guess they just must not have had access to the same files that they had for Project Alf when they were making these DVDs, because I'm assuming that these have been out of print for 20 years at least. Okay, yeah, there is a 2004 Video Service Corps sticker on this, so that was the same year that the season 1 Lionsgate DVD came out. That's very interesting. But either way, that is the side-by-side comparison. Let's go back to the studio. Well, I hope you enjoyed my look at the Alf, the Complete Series Deluxe Edition box set from Shout Studios. I highly recommend it. Go pick it up. And if you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.